Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Redskins met with KJ Hill, Cameron Clark, and a few other prospects, and Peter King said that the Redskins will trade Trent Williams during the draft. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about a few players that the Redskins met with recently, and also going to be talking about what Peter King said and what I think will happen. So, like I said, the Redskins met with KJ Hill not once but twice. They have interest in him because he played really good last year. Had 636 yards and 10 touchdowns, but more importantly, had 885 yards and 6 touchdowns. Why that's important? Because Haskins was the quarterback in 2018, so it shows that he did have better production when Haskins was a quarterback versus when Fields was a quarterback. He had his best year in 2018. So I think that's why they value him. They want to get Haskins weapons, but they also want to get him weapons, preferably that he's comfortable with, and more importantly, with. And I think I wouldn't go and pick him at 66. I think though, if he's available, I don't think he will be, but if he's available at 108, then I think that's something you have to consider. At 108, him or Van Jefferson, or I would look into them in the fourth round, or anyone else that drops. Uh, KJ Hill he's not a fast guy. A lot of you guys don't like him just because he's not fast, but that really doesn't matter that much. His 40-yard dash time was around 6, but he plays faster than that. And if you look at other receivers in the league, Keenan Allen had around a 4.7 40-yard dash, and he's an all-pro, Pro Bowl player. And then Antonio Brown was like a 4.5 or 4.6, something around that. And he also was one of the best receivers of all time. So just because your 40-yard dash time isn't good doesn't mean you're going to be a bad player. He's one of the best route runners in this class. Him, Van Jefferson, Jerry Jeudy, and there's like a couple others, but they're the best route runners in the class. And KJ Hill, add on the chemistry that he already has with Haskins and with Terry McLaurin, I think it's a great value pick. If you can get it in the early fourth round, so 108, I think that would be good. I would not want him at 66. If Michael Pittman or Chase Claypool, one of those guys, they're not available at 66, then I would probably go for offensive tackle and then go tight end and receiver in the fourth, something like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. KJ Hill isn't big, about 6 foot, but he could be a receiver that helps us out a ton and helps out Haskins more importantly. We also met with Cameron Clark, who's twice. I already reported about it once before, but he was an offensive tackle for Charlotte last year. Won offensive MVP. Real quick, I'll go to this is KJ Hill's draft profile. Cameron Clark won offensive MVP at Charlotte as an offensive lineman, which is very rare. He's a raw project, but I think in the later rounds, if we can get him, he can play guard or tackle, which is good to get that flexibility. I think he could play either, like I said. I hope we would bring him in for tackle just because guard isn't a position that we need at the moment, or it's not as much of a need as left tackle. But like I said, he can play both positions, and if you want a more in-depth analysis, go watch my video. I'll probably leave it on the end screen or in the description, but go watch that. And yeah, I think it would be a solid pickup in the late rounds, 5th or 6th. I don't know. That's probably around his range. He's a developmental traits-based prospect, so he's a raw player, but I think definitely can contribute with us if we bring him in and develop him correctly. And if one more thing about KJ Hill, his grade 5.99, I think it was very close to what Terry McLaurin's draft score last year was on the same NFL draft site. So, I think it could be another situation where he's a sleeper pick. We'll see though. Terry McLaurin got in the right situation with because he got to play right away, and he had a quarterback that played with him in college. So these are some 3 other players that we met with, and I'll go more in depth about them in a couple minutes. So Brian Edwards, wide receiver, big guy, Zach Moss, who I also made a video on, Lloyd Cushenberry, and safety Kaleki Hudson. So all of these guys we had interviews with, and we had a few more interviews besides that. But let's go into Bryan Edwards, who's a very big receiver. Played at South Carolina last year, 6'3", 212 pounds. Had a great year last year, 816 yards and 6 touchdowns. Is one of the receivers that we're looking for. If we can't get KJ Hill, I kind of want a bigger receiver because we already got Terry McLaurin, who's a number 1 receiver, who can do it all. And they got Steven Sims, who's kind of a slot receiver, small, shifty. So getting a bigger and Kelvin Harmon can still develop and he can still become a good receiver. But I think having another one of these guys that can help, and if not start year one, come off and do good on the rotation, just like Kelvin Harmon did in the latter half of the year last year. But yeah, big guy, senior, and his grade. I mean, don't take into account the grade too much, but will be started within first 2 seasons, so not bad. And I think a lot of receivers will get cut this year from the Redskins that were on, or not a lot, but I think Cam Sims possibly could get cut. I still think he should get another chance, and then I think Trey Quinn will probably get cut. So that's Bryan Edwards. I really like him. I think we'll see. I think he's in that 4th to 5th round. I'm not too sure, but if we can get him around that 4th round, I think it would be a good deal. I preferably, though, would like KJ Hill in the 4th just because he does have that chemistry with Dwayne Haskins and Terry McLaurin. And he played better with Haskins as his quarterback. So we'll see. It'll bring, especially in a new playbook with a new coach, in a year with a limited offseason, I think KJ Hill will bring familiarity to Haskins, and the same thing will be done for KJ Hill from Haskins. So last guy that I'll be talking about before we get into the Trent Williams stuff, Khaleke Hudson, who is a linebacker slash safety, kind of plays both, which, I mean, I think the Redskins are interested in hybrid players who can play multiple positions, who are versatile players, and he would fit the mold. My only concern, he's kind of like a Landon Collins. I haven't watched too much film on him, only watched a couple of minutes of his highlights, but Landon Collins is kind of like a box safety. If you like it or not, he can cover pretty well, but he's also a great tackler and forces fumbles and can occasionally get some interceptions. But Khaleke Hudson last year had about 100 tackles, only has 2 career interceptions in 4 years, I think had 2 forced fumbles a year before this year, so he could be good. I think definitely a later round guy, like 6th round, maybe 7th round. We'll see. I think around that range we can get him. But like I said, it's just a meeting, so it's not necessarily anything definitive. His combine results were really good, though. 33-inch vert, 30 bench press reps as a linebacker slash safety is really good. So, yeah, we also met with a couple other guys, like I said. The center, Zach Moss, who also he's played for Utah, is a really good running back, but it's probably going to be drafted in the 4th round, 3rd to 5th round range, and I really don't think the Redskins should and will take a running back that early. So that's just my opinion. And there's a couple others that we met with. Michael Pittman, we had contact with, which I really like. I'll read Michael Pittman's stats, but he had around almost 1,300 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. He's that big receiver we're looking for, and I think he could come in and contribute immediately and start over Harmon, in my opinion. I think if he's available at 66, take him, or maybe Chase Claypool. Either one of those guys is going to be a stud, in my opinion. And then, so yeah, those are the players. We've met with a couple others, but those are the main notable players we've met with that have come out in public. I like Cameron Clark in the later rounds. Like I said, KJ Hill in the 4th round, in my opinion, would be really good. Or what we could do is trade back our 60s. If there's no one really good at that 66 spot, maybe we trade down and get 2 late third round picks and get KJ Hill and someone else like that. I don't know. Those are the players we met with. And then the other thing is, Peter King, like I said, he reported it earlier, but now he definitely thinks that it's going to happen. He said that Trent Williams is likely to get traded during the draft, says NBC's Peter King. So, like we said, this is pretty expected. I think the teams that I would keep an eye on, Vikings, Seahawks, and Bucks. Not so much the Bucks, actually. Jets instead of the Bucks. I think the Bucks would make sense for not necessarily a Trent Williams trade, but an OJ Howard trade. So maybe trade Trent Williams for 2/3 and then use one of those thirds to trade for OJ Howard. And imagine that we get OJ Howard and a third round pick. That would be a dream scenario. But for pretty much we get a third and OJ Howard for Trent Williams. But like I said, stay tuned for the draft. We'll see what I do. I'll probably do a stream on Wednesday. We'll see. But yeah, let me know out of those guys I named, Brian Edwards, KJ Hill, Cameron Clark, Zach Moss, Khaleke Hudson, and the others I named. Let me know who you like the best, who you think can contribute for us immediately. And also, I want to know, I'll probably leave a poll, but if I don't, what position do you want to draft in the third round? My opinion, go for the best. I don't want a tight end in the third round unless maybe Cole Kmet is there, but still probably don't want. If there's a really good tackle prospect, I would like that. Or if there's a really good receiver prospect, one of those two positions, I think receiver, offensive tackle, but preferably offensive tackle since we really don't have a starting left tackle yet. So again, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the like button. Turn your notifications on so you never miss a video. You're going to want to turn those notifications on because I'm going to be making a lot of draft videos. So, thanks for watching and peace.